What's up, everybody? Back here for episode 65 of the Pitside Podcast. As you can tell, things are a little different tonight. My guest is also going to be our co-host, and we're going to talk to Terry Landis here in just a few minutes. We'll get started.
Welcome to the Pitside Podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the Coast to Coast Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Here's your host, the A-Let Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Bass Man, Craig.
Yep, so we're back. It's, like I said, a little bit of a different episode. I've got a fill-in co-host here, so Terry's joining us, and he's going to hang out for a little bit. He was supposed to be our guest this week. We're going to be talking to him about his recent Hall of Fame induction, but just wanted to hang out for a little bit, too. How you doing tonight, Terry?
Good, Preston. How you been?
Oh, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Been getting some racing in, running some officials, too, so we've had a good time. Hey, I don't know if you happen to catch it. I know Roger, and I'll explain this in a minute because I have a theory. But Dylan Westbrook ran with the All-Star Circuit of Champions two nights this past week. Did you see any of that?
I didn't see any of it. I was just following Roger's posts.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of begging for updates, and I knew Roger was busy watching, and I think somebody posted something in like one of the admin threads or something. Connor said something back where he was running, and so then he started giving updates. And I don't know if that was really all that appreciated or not, because a lot of people were getting a lot of notifications real fast. But I was keeping up with it, and as it got late, I realized, hey, I still have Race Monitor, so I pulled that up and was just watching the laps tick by on my phone. But he finished second place the second night. It was a $6,000 to win event. I think it's like the fifth or sixth event of the All-Star Circuit of Champions.
Oh, okay.
So he had to have turned some heads. Like, I mean, he beat some really big names.
And, they're a strong group that travel around.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I know Dylan's run 410s before, but he's usually in a 360, so he jumped right in there. And so tonight he's with the ASCS, and I'm not good about remembering what that stands for, but that's the tour that he usually runs. He was Rookie of the Year last season, and they're at East Bay tonight. So Roger wasn't able to be here; he had a lot going on. That was what he said. But I also know Dylan's running at East Bay, so maybe he's watching. That's okay. I get it. Just saying.
Keep
that
watching, Roger.
Might be what's going on. So anyway,
yeah, it's all good.
Anyway, so. Let's talk about your Hall of Fame induction. So
man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Something totally out of the blue, unexpected, unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm excited about where this is going. Just having the award show, it was fun. There was some, I think, really just because it was the first time we'd ever done it, but there was some stress getting it all together, kind of figuring out how we'd work stuff. But
on your end, it's
just another thing that separates our league from others. Now we've got a Hall of Fame, and I know there's a couple other leagues out there that do that, but it's there's some clout to it.
Heck yeah. I mean, it shows that Roger, he just loves this thing. He took it from a baby, and now this thing's a monster.
Yeah, well, and he mentions it offhand every now and then, but I think even back when he was like 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there, that he had a slot car club, and they ran like a league of slot cars. So he's been doing this for a long time. I think it's pretty cool. But so obviously we had a special guest do your induction. We had Don Kreitz come on and do that. Was that a surprise? Cool. Obviously we had to lead on to a couple of things. Did you have any idea that was coming?
I did not have an idea. That was so over the top, man. That was great.
Oh, well, I will tell you, we also reached out to CD Coville. We were going to get him to do like a dual thing, but I don't think Facebook Messenger is his thing. So we never really heard back from him, but Don was great, agreed to do it. And I wondered if you might have had some idea, just because you were the one person that asked me over and over, well, what are they going to say? What am I doing? Like you took it seriously, and I appreciated it, but you had more questions than anybody else, so I was wondering if I gave it away.
No, not at all. I was, like I said, it was just like, holy shit, it was Donald. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was cool, and I think he was pretty excited about it too.
Much appreciated also for you to reach out to them guys.
Oh yeah. Well, that was easy to do. Cassidy's pretty easy to get a hold of, so I said, hey, can you get your dad to do this? And she was like, absolutely.
Yeah, she's a good kid.
Yeah, so
I can't wait.
Go ahead.
She said she told me she's going to run some 410 races this year. I can't wait to see that.
I heard that. I think that, and I guess you can give the insight here because maybe you have some insider knowledge, maybe not. But do you think it's Lance kind of winding down his career and Cassidy will just get the opportunity to start stepping in for him?
That's what I think. Yeah, you'll see him their race schedule probably lighten up a little bit, Yeah. Because Davey's up there too, and them two guys, they're old too.
Right.
Not old, but, they're up in age.
Yeah, well, I mean, Davey's a great guy, and I don't mean to say anything rude about him, but I'm pretty sure you can safely call Davey old. He's a staple at any Pennsylvania dirt track. There's no doubt.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's been doing it forever, and I love the guy.
So just after our Hall of Fame and award show, we started the King of the Wing the very next Monday. And so Roger, and we talked about that a little bit last week, but Roger did just officially announce that we raised over $2,000 for the Steve King Foundation. And I can't tell you, even before we had any idea what that total was going to be, the Steve King Foundation was excited. Like they were really pumped about it. And so it seemed like a great event. And really that's the end goal in those cases, is to raise as much money as possible. But we, some good racing, some caution-filled races, but it was pretty good. And I hate to say it, considering you're my teammate, but I don't really know how you did. How did the event go for you?
I enjoyed it. I think I, done some stupid things to myself probably, but other than that, I thought it was a good racing, and I liked the platform. The way he did it. That was pretty cool with the pole shuffle. The
pole shuffle was so much fun.
Yeah. I mean, they do that up at that BAP Speedway up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Sometimes on the big shows, and it works out pretty good. So it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Where did you made the final race, right?
Yeah, I think I finished like in the mid. I think I was running good, and I think I got a little sideways or something. And I think I ended up like 12th or 14th or something like that.
Yeah. I ran pretty decent too, and then just stepped on it at the end. But that's the way it goes. But that's the thing. It's definitely easier to step away from an event like that. Well, for one, there's no points, right? So you just had a bad night, and there's really no real consequence from it. But it's also easy to step away from it and having a bad night, knowing, hey, we just raised a ton of money for somebody that's going to need it.
And that's just a shout out to all those guys in our league. Everybody that watches the show, watches the videos and everything, and that donated the money. That's just a shout out to all those people.
Well, and really, this is probably the first event. We've always had big sponsors step up, but I think this was the first event where the sponsors pretty much matched what the drivers donated too. So it was not just people racing, which a lot of those people are involved with our league in some cases or most cases.
Racing sponsors,
but we have others too that aren't racing in our league that still put up money to make sure we were able to meet our goal.
Right, to do it. Right.
So
and I think you nailed it. I think we put it out of the park.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think that it really hit home for me when Brody told us that that he got treatment that he couldn't have gotten otherwise. His insurance wouldn't cover it, and he said it made a big difference. So that's maybe we just did that for somebody else. We don't know who yet, but we might have just done it again, and that's a special thing that we do. So kind of moving on, we're into week 10 now, and so
it won't be long.
What was that?
I said it won't be long.
No, yeah.
So it's over.
Well, so really, if you're watching this, it's on Sunday. So week 10 has just ended, unless you're going to run Skip Barber's tonight. But it was a pretty good week. I think everybody's really looking towards the end now. We're at that point in the season where points are the focus.
Right. Yeah.
But so I ran Monday night. I've been kind of keeping my nose clean and just running Monday nights here. It's kind of killing me. I wanted to race tonight, but went and found something else to do to distract myself. But I know you've been in a bunch of the races, starting with Renegades. How'd you do this week?
Oh shit! I don't even remember, dude.
Yeah, so I wasn't able to. Monday was Valentine's Day, and
I didn't. That's why I didn't race.
Let me tell you what. You didn't race. That's right.
No.
I will say, and hopefully Judy's not in earshot because this has nothing to do with her. But there are a lot of understanding wives out there. I told Roger earlier in the day, I said, I bet car counts are going to be low. And, I was kind of worried about it, but I think it ended up they were lower than normal, but not low.
Yeah.
And so we still had some pretty good racing. I finished fourth in Rebels, elected not to transfer again Valentine's Day.
Right.
I just finished my race and booked it. But, and then so you ran Tuesday night, you ran the, was it midgets? And where were y'all at this week?
Yeah.
Lernerville?
Seems we're always at freaking Lernerville. I don't know.
Yeah, it does pop up a lot. I think it gets, between nights, it gets interspersed throughout the schedule, so you end up, each week you're there pretty frequently.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
I ran pretty good. Floated the front end out of turn 4 a couple times. Not by choice once, and I kind of lost a spot or two. But I had to come back up, and it was a good run.
Yeah, and so I think you told me after it happened you went from 10th to 5th, and really you just started towards the back because you were you messed up qualifying, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So where do you stand in points? Do you have a shot at the championship?
I might. I don't even know. I think I'm like 3rd.
Yeah.
I think it's Barker hitting me.
Yeah, and I don't think Barker was there this week because he's in Honduras.
Right.
Not really. He somehow that came up, and he said he was going to Honduras, and he just sent a picture of him, his jet skis out in the snow. So I think he's just at the cabin. But something went over my head at some point. But I know he was not actually going to Honduras. But,
no.
So and then. Did you run last night at all for Hometown Hero? I say last night, Wednesday night for Hometown Hero.
No, I don't run too much on a Wednesday because I usually run Monday, Tuesday, and then sometimes Thursday.
Yeah, and I should probably shout out my dad at this point, who I don't know at this moment if he will be driver of the week or not, but I do know in the 305 race he went from 23rd to 6th, which there's not many weeks where we see a guy go 17 spots. So
it's
a pretty impressive run. So that was awesome.
That was.
And then so Thursday night was Big Blocks and Kings of Dirt, and I understand you ran that too, right?
Yeah, small blocks. It was at the Grove, of course. Man, I love that. I miss that track.
Yeah, me too.
But because they built that pretty spot on, I gotta tell you. That slick coming out of turn 4, and then the groove going way up in 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, in the small blocks, I went. I had a good run. Went from 15th to 8th. It wasn't too bad. They were pretty much down low.
Are the small blocks almost underpowered for that track?
Oh yeah. You can't really, unless you're really straight, you can't really pull anybody coming out of the turn down low.
And did you run the big blocks or the mixed division?
Yeah, everybody. I'm sure everybody had big block in.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, and it was almost the same way. I was running down low, and I was throwing that thing a little bit sideways to get down, to the low spot, so you can get that good grip coming out. Yeah, and
then the craziest race, actually, we put on some Wild Ones enduros and stuff, and this one wasn't intended to be, an unusual event, but I think it is pretty unusual to see non-wings run at the Grove. So our Kings of Dirt was non-wings at the Grove. Was that, I imagine, so those cars they want to turn left so bad all the time, and those long straightaways has to make it really difficult.
Oh yeah, it's throwing the weight right on the left rear, going down the backstretch, and you got to roll out of the throttle just a little bit to keep it smooth. And then as later on in the night was getting, I was throwing it a little harder than I wanted to, but I wanted to get the angle, coming out down low.
Sure.
But those cars are a handful.
So who ended up winning that?
Nicholas.
Vickery. Yeah, and where'd you finish?
I was running second and stepped on it getting into turn 3 and too low.
How many laps left?
I was 2 laps down.
Oh, it's daggone. You would have had it.
I know. I was running good. I was just biding my time. Just sitting back there and trying to find a quicker way around.
Yeah.
And I was catching him too.
Yeah. I really wanted to come out for that one, but like I said, I had to distract myself because I got to keep my nose clean, keep my penalty points down to make sure I'm able to transfer and everything next season. So that's kind of the thing now. We're getting towards the end of the season. Everybody's got to be paying attention to that. Don't forget, IL limits. So you want to make sure your IL is down. because you want to be able to transfer up to the next division. You can win a championship, or you can be in the top 3 or whatever, and your IL be too high and you don't get promoted because of it.
Right, exactly. Now it's going to stay the same for next year, or are they going to adjust it somehow?
Yes. So that was one of the changes that we made this season. At the beginning of the season, it may have been 1 weekend, but we adjusted it because some of the car counts were a little lower than we expected. So what we did is we changed the weekly transfer rules so that you only had to have the IL requirement for your division to transfer weekly. So that meant if you're in Rebels, then all you have to have is a .225 to transfer into Renegades. But at the beginning of the season, I guess that depends on how you look at it. At the end of the season, in order to stay in your division, Renegades you have to have below a .200. Rebels is a .225, and then Raiders is a .250. Now, again, I don't know exactly what the protocol is if you're higher than that in Raiders now. But so you do have to, in order to transfer out of Rebels, you have to have we'll call it Renegades IL.
Right, okay. So you got to have the higher group, you got to have that IL.
Yeah, exactly. And that's different for the weekly transfers. And it is a little confusing. The best thing you can do is go to the website, read the rule, and probably make a little bit more sense. But, points battles are really kind of heating up. I know Renegades is tight. I think Moonin is actually maybe possibly ahead of Shorty by a few points at this point because of drop weeks, which those will start ticking in. Well, I assume they'll start ticking in this week. I don't know if Sim Racer Hub or Sim Racing Points works exactly the same way as I had IRLM, but technically the drop weeks start counting this week, being week 11. So you get 2 drop weeks for every 10 weeks that you run. So any division that's going to hit those drop weeks will start kicking in.
Right, and that could change the points too, right?
Oh yeah, and that's something. Shorty's been nice enough on Monday mornings or Tuesday mornings to go in and kind of get everybody's, find their worst results, remove them, and figure out the points that way, so we have an actual idea where we stand. So that's the thing. I've been actually leading Rebels points since either week 3 or 4, which is unbelievable. I'm getting a big head over it, I think, at this point. But
that's why you need the hat. That's all I'll tell you. Buddy.
There you go. But there was actually, I probably only realistically led points for about 3 to 4 weeks. Because of drop weeks, if you went in and actually took those weeks out, Brennan Lacey's been winning points almost all season. Or Schaefer might have had it early on, and then Brennan took over. But this past week, I actually took back over. I'm 8 points ahead of Schaefer, if you count drop weeks. Brennan had some, I don't really know what happened. I know he was nearby and got in an incident Monday and ended up a lap down. So that was a little unfortunate. You always want to kind of battle with those guys instead of.
Oh yeah, it's always fun.
He's not out of it. So we got 3 weeks left. So we'll see what happens.
It's going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, it definitely will, and that's really the fun part about drop weeks too, because you can do your best and know where you finish and know how many points you earn for that, but there still could be a little mix up in the back end when those drop weeks get applied. So makes things interesting and makes things tricky on championship night when somebody's got to get that calculated to get to the broadcasters.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully Sim Racer Hub is as quick as IRLM was, and I think it probably is. But that was one thing that did make it convenient, because we were able to just kind of download a file and upload it, and you were done.
And there it is.
Yep. So, where do you sit in points at the moment?
8th.
8th? Do you know realistically how far you could jump up in the next 3 weeks?
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you pay a lot of attention to points, or is it
not too much? Not too much. Just last year, to tell you the truth, because I really wanted to win that.
In the midgets or or mixed non-wings.
Yeah, Topless Tuesday. I really liked them cars, and I really wanted to win it. So that was the only time I was really paying attention. Other than that, I'm just running for the win.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed that division too. The numbers have been ticking up, which has been good, because it helps us be able to at least keep the division if we elect to. But I was enjoying it too. I had there were a couple of weeks where my name showed up on the penalty sheet a few too many times. And my iRacing Force feedback, if anybody's not familiar with that, it's a pretty helpful tool. Some people swear against it. Some people swear by it. I'm one of the people that will swear by it. There's a YouTube video you can watch that'll teach you to set it up. I think it'll make you a better driver, but it failed for whatever reason. I couldn't get it working. And man, I'm telling you what, going back to iRacing standard feedback is it's not an easy thing. I was loose everywhere, and I was really devastating people in those on Topless Tuesday. So I just went ahead and kind of parked it, and then realized my penalty points were where they were, and figured I just better behave myself.
Better stay out for a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be back next season.
There you go.
Well, so I guess I'm going to ask Roger's question, and just to see if it's changed at this point. And I don't remember your answer from last time. But what's your greatest iRacing memory?
Oh, my memory? Jeez.
There's a correct answer now.
Oh, there is now? Oh, well, let me think. Maybe getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Man, that great answer. Great answer.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you too. We still find ourselves on the track around each other all the time. But has your rival changed?
No, could be you, but it's still Barker, because he still drives me nuts when I'm down low, and he's, I got to really work that guy over to get by him. He's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one too. Well,
but I'll tell you what, though. Kudos to a bunch of guys, because y'all are learning to drive down low, and I'm not liking it. So.
Well, I've noticed you've been going up top more. I figure you're just gonna, you kind of do the long con of run where they ain't, So as everybody else learns to run in the bottom, you're just gonna move up to the top.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I got you figured out, buddy.
All right, you're right. Hey, don't go for the block. Remember that. No. Freddie Raymer always went for the block, and he always messed up. So don't go for the block.
You can't block when you don't have mirrors. It's just not. You can't do it.
I know. I'm gonna push for that too. Get those mirrors off these cars. At least in the Renegades, because we're all semi-pros. We all know what we're doing. If you can't tell or hear the car behind you, you look at the relative box a little bit. You glance down at it. That give you the tenth. You know what a tenth is? 2 tenths. You don't need that mirror.
Yeah, it's true.
And anyways, real cars don't have them.
Well, that's what I think iRacing really needs to do, is put an option in your league or your session setup to restrict mirrors or the virtual mirror.
Right.
And that would be helpful. We did notice the other day. I mentioned it to you because I didn't know what had happened. I had shifted some stuff around on my desk, and I can't remember what we were running. It might have been King of the Wing. It was right before the feature. It was right before I was supposed to drive out for driver introductions. And I reached up because I was trying to figure out if I could shift. Because I used to have my arrow keys mapped to shift because I use the paddles on my wheel for my wing slider.
Right.
And so I went up there and I hit the button, but I must have hit the wrong button. I'm in VR. I can't see.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, I'm on the nose of the car. And I'm one person away from being called out on the track. I know Roger's getting ready to call my name because Blake started right in front of me, and he just called Blake, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so I finally just started smashing buttons, and it jumped back. So I pulled out. We got in that, we'll call it a line, on the front stretch, which it's awesome, but we got to do a better job lining up because it was a mess. But anyway, so I get in line, and I'm out there, and I start messing with it again, and occasionally, for whatever reason, the page up and page down buttons will let you change camera views, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right.
So,
well, maybe that's why some guys are doing good. A lot of guys drive better on the outside of the car, like a third person.
I could see that being true, especially for people that are used to doing racing games on a console or with a controller. But I think also, I don't know, it may depend on the kind of the camera motion, because I feel like as sideways as those cars get, it would be really hard to drive from a rear view.
Right, I can't drive like that.
Yeah, I don't. It'd be hard to tell where your traction was and those kind of things. I think you got to be able to feel that by sitting in the car.
And looking to see, how the track's change and where the line's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can drive like that.
All right, so now's your chance. At the end of every show, Roger says, "Oh, one more thing." So that's your job. You got to give me one more thing.
One more. Oh, let me think. I don't have one more thing.
All
It's
right.
it's cold here in the desert. I'm in here with a sweatshirt on.
Yeah, well, we'll let you get back in the house. And
Yeah, man.
congratulations again on your Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, that's a pretty sweet thing. I really appreciate it. It's
Yep.
crazy.
All right,
All right.
guys. Well, we'll be back here for episode 66 of the Pitside Podcast next week, every morning, every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. We'll see you then.
It is.